Welcome to the Change Mindset program. Today's program is going to focus on strategies regarding building a growth mindset. The focus is going to be especially on understanding what is a goal versus what is a purpose. Without much ado, let's jump right into the story. So we are going to switch off from today's world to go right back thousands of years ago in history. So this is a calm and quiet village, and we have our guru coming in again, walking along the roads of the village. The guru lives and travels his life all the time from one village to the other. And how does he does that? That's by foot. So he is always walking around places all the time, which means he also has to walk for long distances in between heavy, dense forests. On this very day, he's doing such a thing, walking along a forest, unknown space, still his foot is so much understanding of how the earth is, its experience. He walks very slow and steady, calm and quiet into the woods. It's a mushy mud. He could feel that in his foot. Soft mud, so nothing of a danger. He has a stag in his hand to help him. So he walks around. And suddenly there is something strong and harsh that is touching his foot. He feels something different, unusual to the topography where his foot is. So he kneels down to look at what is there. There is something flashy in this cold, dense forest. So he is curious. He takes his nails to pluck around and figure out what it is. And there he finds a huge gold bracelet. A huge gold bracelet. Not just a bracelet, it has gems of high value, precious gems sitting on top of it. You can easily say that it's a millionaire. You are a millionaire when you're having such a thing. But a guru is a guru. He has to lead a detached attachment kind of life. So he looks at it, dusts off the mud, gives a smile, puts it in his small pouch, and walks about. He's now entering a village where he is new. He sets his place, presents a very, very similar. He prefers a quiet place, a tree to sit down on, and he meditates very similar to what he does every day. The people around are always curious when there's a new person coming in, and especially a guru like that. So they walk around and figure out who he is, ask about him, and he begins to show what he has in his pouch. He shows that he has this bracelet, and he also tells them it doesn't belong to me. I found it in the dense forest. It's very impossible for me to figure out who the owner is. So, you know what? I have decided to give it away to someone. Curiosity. Who's going to be the someone? He explains, you know what? I want to decide on who is the poorest person of all and completely needy person of all who deserves to have this and hand it over to him or her. The people are very curious now. So he is just looking for someone who's poor, and you need to explain him that you are poor or you are needy for some reason. That's simple. That's simple a job. Okay, let's get on going. People begin to explain their story, their challenges in life, whatever they need and why they need this bracelet. And they expect some reaction. He's a very nice guy, quietly, patiently listening, observing every single thing that is being said and also the things that are not being said, but never judging. So everybody gets a chance to explain his or her own story, but then no reaction comes out of him. So days are moving by. Slowly, steadily, people in the whole village are getting this word spread that there is somebody sitting in that precincts underneath the tree and he has something precious ready to give but is not giving. What he wants is to have a good explanation of why a person is the poorest of all or is the neediest of all. Message spreads not just in the village, across villages. Words of mouth are very powerful those days as well. So, village by village, people start pouring in from different places, traveling to just meet him, to tell him their story. There are people telling him that, oh, I have somebody very sick in my family. They will die if I do not take care. There are people telling, oh, I don't have a house. I don't have anything for me. I need a roof on top of my head. People explaining that I want to develop my business or I want to build a temple or a church and help people. I want to build a schoolhouse or a hospital to help people. There are roads missing. I will help people have better roads. So there are people coming up with their own needs and also needs that will help the community as well. So reasons seem to be very, very interesting. No reaction from the guru at all. He's listening. The word spreads even further wide that even across countries and different cities, people are beginning to flow to this little village. The whole ecosystem is shifting now because of this little bracelet. We are going to take a pause now and just reflect on certain things. First of all, let's look at the mindset of the guru. We discussed detached attachment in the last session. So we know that he is not going to take it for himself, if if not anything else. What is he really expecting from an explanation? What is the mindset of the people? Maybe you can also add on and reflect on your thoughts on what would be an ideal need or ideal reason that will impress this guru that he will give something to you. So before we get to the next stage of the story, one thing that I want you to think of as an action point is your goal and your purpose for the goal. Write down your goals in life and write down what is the purpose for the goals. If you look at what this guru is trying to listen to, he is observing a lot. People are giving explanations for their needs. So, this is what is behind the purpose of your goal. So, think of that and reflect on your goal and the purpose of the goal. While we have done this exercise of understanding a little bit on our own goal and purpose, now let's go back, switch back 1,000 years ago and look at the situation of the village now that is really overflowing with the crowd. So the word gets around to the extent that it hits the emperor, the king. He gets to know of this little situation that is coming up and is disturbed a little bit. He sends his ministers to look around, guards to look around, to assess what is going on. They all come back and give the same explanation, pretty much repetition, and he is frustrated. The king, the king is very busy man. He doesn't have time. You know what he is doing? He's busy expanding. Yeah, merging, acquiring more places, more lands, and calling himself the emperor. So the moment he has acquired the wealth of one place, he has to use it to go and acquire another. So he is very busy. His army is extremely busy. He doesn't have time for this little thing that's going on in the back of his own kingdom. He's also irritated that somebody is getting too much attention here, and that somebody is, according to him, possibly a nobody. So he now decides to come himself. It's a waste of time for me, but I want to end this drama. So he decides to walk in this village and look at what's going on. He views the whole crowd. He looks at how people are coming before this guru and explaining every single thing about their life. And the guru, no reaction, listening one by one, without any discrimination, equal importance to everyone, but no result. High level frustration for this king. So the king decides to walk up directly to the guru. Hey, what are you doing here? You're wasting the time of people, asking them to give explanations and so on, but there is nothing you have decided. Can't you take a decision on who's the purest of all based on these explanations? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? He puts his arm like this. And the guru places the bracelet on his arm. We make a stop here to understand what just happened. So there is a decision that was taken by the guru, but he has been observing for a while, and he has taken a decision on who is the poorest of all here. And the poorest person, according to this guru, is this emperor that is ruling this country and possibly busy merging and acquiring few more countries. Why do you think he is the poorest? Reflect on your own thoughts on this. Reflect on the reaction of the people around, the king himself, and also why would a decision be taken in this form. So before we get to the next part of the ending part of the story where there is some explanation awaiting for the king, let's look at leadership in the growth mindset. When we are growing, we are looking for goals, definitely. We are looking for purposes for the goal. What is the difference between these two? A goal is simply an end game, let's say. To reach there is this journey, and the journey must make some purpose. What is being asked by the guru is just this purpose, and he has been asking for these explanations from everybody. And this is something that we ask ourselves also from a leadership mindset, from a growth mindset, that are we leading our lives? Are we leading our mission in a way that we are seeking to understand the purpose before we get to the goal or not? And how important is it in the world of leadership? Just reflect on that. And now let's listen to the explanation that is coming from the guru to the king, because the king right now is shocked. He is trying to also say that, you know what? You know, the kind of wealth that I hold, this is actually nothing. You know, the power I hold, this is actually nothing. And you decide that this is the hand of a poorest person in the world. So the guru explains a word called Shriman. Shriman is referring to a person that is wealthy. My dear king, I was looking for a poorest person, not a Sriman. And I looked around these people, listened to everybody, but all I could hear was everybody was a Sriman. And you, my king, was the poorest that I could find, because you have a goal that lacks a purpose. Can you define what is Sriman? Asked the king. So the guru explains the meaning of a wealthy person, a Sriman. A Sriman is someone who is having a goal with a purpose, who is selfless, and who is making the effort a steady progress. These people that I saw had grief in their lives, but they also had the courage. And with grief added with courage, they were putting that into constructive efforts. So, in today's world, yes, they might be poor, but they are not going to stay poor all the time, because they already have their mission, their vision, and the goal with a purpose that's most important. Today or tomorrow, they'll figure out a way. If I do not give them this, they are always going to figure out another way to survive. But you, O king, have so much with you, but you do not know how to use your resources effectively. You lack a purpose. So that is going to be a danger sign that you might soon be the poorest of all. That's why I decided to give you this. If we now look at the strategic points of what was going on behind the whole scene, what was this man doing, this guru doing? He was collecting statistics, data points on the status of the people in the country, sitting in one corner under the tree without the support of internet. He was listening to all the stories, observing. The key word is observing before acting. And he was listening to the needs, requirements, the challenges the people were facing. And this belongs to this emperor, this country, this king who has all the power to use his resources to take care of these people. But he did not do it. Versus, he chose to use the resources to gain control over another place. So this is exactly where we are missing the growth mindset and lacking that connection between goal versus purpose. He decides on his goals to go and acquire another country, but it doesn't lack a good purpose. And what is happening is that he is building a weaker country, a weaker segment of people with so many needs and requirements which are not met. If we look at our own goals versus purpose and also our resources, how effectively are we using it, leveraging it? There is a starting point for our growth mindset, which is effective leadership and also a sustainable leadership. That will make a stop for today's session. Thank you very much.